Hello internets, my name is Lave and I watched another Odeon's Scream Unseen, where you go to the cinema without knowing what the film is. Part of me was hoping that it was going to be an early preview of It Chapter 2, but it turned out it was a film called Ready or Not, which I knew nothing about. When the title came up I thought, oh god, this is going to be like last year's Truth or Dare. But it wasn't. I actually had a real blast with this one, and I think that's because I did go in blind, and I think you should do the same as well. That's just a warning because I will be talking about stuff which is shown in the trailers. I won't be going into any big spoilers or anything, but I think you really should go into this one completely blind like I did. So this one follows a girl called Grace as she marries her boyfriend of a year, Alex, who is from the Ladomas family, a mega rich family who made their fortune from various board games over the years, who have a strange tradition of welcoming new members to their family by making them play a game. For Grace, it's hide and seek, only with a lot of blood and a lot of violence. So let's start with the lead, Grace, played by Samara Weaving, who is totally not Margot Robbie, but she is wicked in this film. When we first meet her, the film goes through the motions and we get the I'm an orphan backstory and I just want a family. And she is legitimately worried that the rest of the family think that she's only in it for the money. But when she realises that she's getting more than she bargained for, I was really rooting for her. She's a really likeable character. I liked her little laugh when she has a snort at the end of a laugh. I thought she was great in this. The cool thing about her character is that she's a proper John McClane, an average person having a very bad day, or night as it were, and her wedding dress gets progressively dirtied, bloodied, ripped and torn as she's battling for survival. She has a really great moment when she's starting to fight back. She's managed to arm herself and put on some Converse trainers so she's not running around in her wedding shoes. She's a bit scuffed up at this point, but she catches a look at herself in the mirror and she's just like, Jesus, what the hell is going on? She also has a couple of epic rants to herself at other people. It just made me laugh so much as these people aren't helping her. I thought the dialogue was really funny in this film as well. The supporting cast are great too. Adam Brody plays her new brother-in-law who's in a loveless marriage himself and just doesn't care anymore. It's nice to see Andie MacDowell acting again as the mum of the family, and I really liked Nikki Goldagini as their battle axe Aunt Helena, who's like a scarier version of Glenn Close if that's possible. My favourite characters though were Fitch and Emily. So Emily is one of the daughters of the family and Fitch has married into the family. They're not characters that you're supposed to like. I mean, they are douchebags for reasons that I won't spoil, but they did get the biggest laughs out of me. I think most of the laughs from the film come from the fact that this family like to stick to traditions, so they use 18th century weapons which they don't really know how to use, and they don't really know how to kill people. So there's a lot of funny moments in there which of course I don't want to spoil. The cinematography is surprisingly good too. Because the family are so rooted in tradition, the house is lit with candles or handheld lanterns, so the lighting makes use of that, using silhouettes and negative space with a handheld feel which doesn't overdo the shaky camness. You can always tell what's going on. There is a point where the family start to get a bit desperate and they start bickering with each other and decide to start breaking their own rules, like using the security cameras that they've got around this mansion, and you do get kind of splashes of red every now and again like the security cameras when they break their own rules, which is funny because they're such a superstitious bunch. Which brings up another point in the film, it does explain why they're doing this, and I totally bought into it, and it kind of explains why they are so kind of crazy. And the best thing about the film is that it commits to it right towards the end. The way it ends, again, I don't want to spoil, but I thought, oh, that's brilliant that they just went for it. That's awesome. It's not all about the comedy though. It does try to add some tension in some scenes, but because the film is a bit tongue-in-cheek, I wasn't ever gripping my seat or cowering from fright. There is one moment which maybe would have been more effective had A Quiet Place not done it better. The only slight niggles I had with the film is that it is a bit exposition heavy, especially at the beginning, but even into the third act, there's still kind of explaining what's going on. There's a moment when Andie MacDowell is sitting down with her grandkids explaining why they're doing this, and I was like, yeah, I've already got it at this point. Why are you telling me again? There is a moment where it kind of leaps in logic where they show one character in one place and then in the very next scene they're over there. And I don't think this is a visual effects heavy film with a big budget or anything like that, but there is a couple of moments with some dodgy CG fire effects. But like I say, these are very small negatives. Overall, I had a real blast with this. So that's my thoughts on Ready or Not, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. Comedy as a genre is hard to do. I think horror comedy even more so. The last horror comedy I can think of seeing and reviewing was probably Slaughterhouse Rules, and I wasn't that positive about that review because it felt like it was a cheap imitation of an Edgar Wright movie, whereas this one feels like it's got its own personality and identity. It's a really enjoyable watch. I think it's already been released in the US and it gets a 27th of September release over here in the UK. So when you see it, let me know what you thought down in the comments. And as always, thanks very much for watching this review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give this video a like and don't forget to share the Lave.